I'm Jeff Wilkinson of Wilkinson Construction Consultants. At the present time, there's pretty much only one thing that people want to know anything about, and that's building rigs related to Grenfell Tower. But just as a little bit of background, if you haven't managed to come across me previously, I'm Managing Director of Wilkinson Construction Consultants. I'm also the building rigs expert for Architects Journal, and you may possibly have seen me on ITV, on BBC. You may have heard me on LBC, BBC World News, Radio 4, and for those of you further afield, ABC Network in Australia and BBC TV Persia. So literally a worldwide reach there. Something that people possibly don't know about us as a company is that we care very much about the homeless. We are corporate sponsors of the big issue. We also support the Friends of Essex and London Homeless, Shelter, and some other well-known homeless charities as well. This week you will have heard in the news that Big Ben has been silenced. Just to give you an idea of the disconnect between the politicians and the rest of the people in the country, Jacob Rees-Mogg stated that the silencing of Big Ben is the greatest tragedy of our times. I'd like to suggest not only is it not the greatest tragedy of our times, it's not the greatest tragedy even of the past couple of months. I think that clearly goes to Grenfell Tower, where 87 discoveries of human remains, that's not bodies, that's human remains, have so far been discovered. That's at least 87 voices that were silenced in a fire on one day. Never mind a bell, this is the greatest tragedy that's hit us for a long, long time. To try and put that into perspective, a lot of what's going on at the moment is actually, to a degree, scaremongering. The chances of you dying in a fire are relatively low. If you look at the number of deaths in the UK, there's probably 500,000 or so people die each year. The main causes of those are medical. The section that you see up there, you'll see that the number of accidental deaths, there are around 200 to 300 fire deaths a year. The vast majority of those do not extend beyond the location, the room in which the fire has originally started. By comparison, over 1,000 people die each year from falls down the stairs, which interestingly enough is also covered by building regulations. And if you have alterations done to your stairs, for example, you take out the balustrading or the banisters that actually prevent you from falling, that in itself would be a breach of building regulations. To give you an idea of the risks within tall blocks themselves, DCLG have released some fire statistics, and you'll see from those that there are very, very, very few fire deaths in blocks of flats. It's literally in single figures, the number of people that have died. So what we saw at Grenfell was something that was very, very much out of the ordinary. It's not something that people should be panicking about on a day-to-day basis. To give you an idea as well, the probability of you dying in a fire of any description is primarily down to a couple of things. One, your ability to move out of the room, okay, where the fire has actually taken place, and two, the ability of you to discover. So if there are working fire alarms, you're sober and physically mobile, you are unlikely to die in a fire. You'll find that infants and the very elderly are the most likely to die in fires each year.